I don't think I usually.
Where is this? There is Discord. Okay. Layout GA 2025. We've started. Ahmed Mostafa.
Should I open my camera?
So your internet is good enough? Yeah, let's do that.
I hope I can. I hope it's good enough. You can. You never know.
Okay.
Is it okay?
Okay, I can see all 5 pixels of you.
Yeah, there's some haze in this. I don't know why.
Yeah, no worries. It seems it's
طالع من قصص الأنبياء.
Okay. طيب. So I can start. Okay. So I will start with the introduction now. Great. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today we have Ahmed Mostafa with us. Ahmed is an Egyptian game developer. He's been making games for a couple of years now. He has worked on quite a few games, some that you will hear of very soon, and some that he's been making in game jams and other places. Actually, Ahmed, I think off of Twitter, but it was because a lot of his games were very charming, they were very exciting, and they were very cute. And one of the games that got us talking was called Sound of Silence. It's a game about 2 siblings. Actually, I'll let him describe it in a bit. And he was the person, if I'm not mistaken, that won last year's game Zelda. Is that correct, Ahmed?
Yes.
Yep, so that's really cool. So we're going to talk a bit about this. We're going to talk about his current game, the one he's working on, and we're going to talk about basically how to actually get started in making your own games and finishing an actual prototype. All right, so Ahmed, it's great to have you here. If you'd like to introduce yourself a bit more, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm glad to be here. I'm Ahmed Mostafa, a game developer from Egypt. I've been working in games for 10 years now, mostly on hobbies projects. And from 2020, I started working professionally on making games. I work on a couple studios here in Egypt and Middle East, mainly on mobile games. And with that, I was making my own games. I shipped some titles on Android and iOS. Parallel to that, I was working on my own games to making my own. Let's say it's artist experiments to really have some ideas about games and publish them and make $1 million game indie game dream. And suddenly I know it's not an easy task. So I I keep working on that, but with a minimal scope. And currently I think I know how to give you what not to do. I don't know what should you do because I don't know, but I can tell you, of course, what should you don't do. So I hope you will get some benefits and save sometimes from your development time, avoiding the things I did, and I hope you don't do again.
That's awesome. So what are some things we should do? Like, what do you have in mind?
First thing is to make a game by yourself, and think it's gonna be an MMO. I mean, an MMO. That's the first thing. That's a meme actually. Everybody wants to make their multiplayer RPG game, and let me tell you that it's not easy. It's not easy, even for like $1 million company. It's not easy. So for a pro indie solo developer, it's 100% silly to say somehow.
Yeah, actually, I completely agree. Making your first game as an MMO is a very good, bad idea.
Yeah.
We usually have this joke in the gaming academy, which literally says, "Please don't make Skyrim," because we have
Yeah.
teams every year that come. They're like, "Oh yeah, I want to make Skyrim." So, um, so actually, the first successful quote unquote game that I made was through a game jam. And what I mean by successful is I was able to actually finish the game, and we were actually able to play it. But all my character did was it moved left and right and up and down, and it just needed to get to a door by moving left, right, up and down. Well, the way I did it was I had no idea how to actually make a character move and stop moving when I stopped clicking the right or left buttons. So I just made him
Yeah.
slide all the way until he hit a wall. And then I decided that my mechanic was going to be about like sliding across rooms or something of the sort.
And
Basically, I picked a
and that
very tiny mechanic
yeah.
from that. Hey, go on.
Yeah, I was gonna say that tiny mechanic is a lot, and actually
Mm-hmm.
for your first game, and that's a very good
Yeah.
and that's a very good game. Look into your current position, current knowledge. That's 100%
Mm-hmm.
testing all your knowledge
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
adding
Absolutely.
to it. Yeah, that's 100% successful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah,
what was your first game like? Do you remember?
yeah. My first game was a multiplayer zombie shooter,
Yeah. Okay, that's
and
cool. It was a
yeah,
zombie shooter.
and
Interesting.
I spent 6 months working on it, and I was not able to make it a zombie shooter. I think after 6 months I was make it a shooter, some kind of a shooter. And after, yeah, I remember that I was still in like 15 or something. I bring all my friends and we start playing the game. It was a lot of blocks, like maze, and you are having a cylinder that shoots some spheres, and the zombie was a big green cylinder with a big green sphere on top of his head. And suddenly, when he showed off to my friend, he screamed. He didn't know what that was. He saw a big green blob that moving. He screamed. Then I know I could I can make a I was going to make a horror game, and it was successful for me. He screamed. I don't know.
That's actually very, very cool. Okay, okay, that's awesome. Honestly, a lot of times when you make your first game, we don't know what exactly we're making, and we forget that playing the game is what will give us feedback on whether the game is good or not.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
uh, I'm glad that your friends had a good reaction to this game, to be honest. So, when was the when did you like complete this game, basically?
I didn't.
Like, I don't mean complete and like finish it, but like, when did you actually get people
Yeah,
to
actually, your
start
voice is a
playing the
little
game? Because you said it took you like 6 months.
your voice is a little bit not stable, so I can't hear the question.
I think I'll turn off my camera. Maybe this
Yeah.
would help. I'm asking, when did you first make your game? And so this game, when did you release it? Speaking?
The first game,
Was this
the
in
zombie shooter.
2019 earlier? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was something like 11 years ago,
Oh, wow.
2015 or 2014.
7 years. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, that's awesome. That's
I
really, really
didn't
cool.
finish it. I didn't finish it.
Mhm.
100% I didn't finish it. After my friend streamed, I think I got satisfied
Okay,
that he had fun.
nice.
And that was the first time I saw a player playing a game of my own, and actually interact with
Mhm.
it. Um, it was not cool at all. It was not perfect at all. It was not even good. Everything in this game was just I'm copying a tutorial on the internet, and it was like uh, the first moment he played it and screamed and then laughed, and it was a meme in our in our small cult, me and my friends. Um, that feeling of seeing someone playing your game, even it's not completed, if it's not that cool and not like I imagined with the zombies and shooters and realistic graphics, somehow satisfies the artist inside you, the creator.
Yeah, I get it
And that's
completely.
a great
And when
message,
we,
a great message for anyone to want to make games that don't actually get into much of making the game, but making the message of the game. If you had a single mechanic that kind of deliver a message, in the zombie case, I discovered this by accident. But in other of my games, I'm actually looking for making this message, this something that's a big message, big thing, like sentence. You will get with this game with the sentence. Like this is the sentence, and you try with all the development tools you have is to deliver the sentence loud and clear.
yep, absolutely, 100%. And yeah, like if we look at a game like Thomas Was Alone, the art in it isn't really the best. It's it's literally just rectangles. But even with this,
Mhm.
they were able to deliver a good story with a good message in a cute game. So yeah,
Yes.
I 100% agree with you. Since then, you've been working on quite a lot of games, and in last year's Game Zanga, you ended up winning. Can you tell us a bit about that game and like why you decided to make it and why you think it won?
Yeah, this game actually let me give you an overview of the whole situation. I
Yep.
know about the jam like 1 month earlier before it starts, and I joined the game Zanga for three versions before, and that was the first for me. And it was a special edition, so it has some prizes. So I know I had to do much more than every time to get a to try to win a prize. So I take my first decisions to make a team, um, and that team was actually not professionals at all. The problem with the 3D game jam, 3 days game jam, is that you don't have time. 3 days is actually not you're sleeping half of them, so there is no time to make anything. So I need some people to actually sleep for me, to I'll give them my sleep time, they sleep for me, and I keep working. And that was my plan. Before the jam, actually participating in a lot of jams give you some tips. Don't start the jam from the day of the jam. You can start the jam like anytime before the jam, and it's still legal by actually searching, knowing what you're gonna do, what genre is you are gonna make, what actually interests you, what is the message you want to deliver in this game. Like in this game, I had to make a minimalistic art because I don't have time to to make art. Second thing, I go through Pinterest and search for that minimalistic art style, and I found a lot of reference that actually making this art style. This art style is not original for me. If you search on Pinterest, you're gonna see a lot of art like it. Mainly the main character. There is some character look like it on online. But this small references I gathered, I collected. I decided I was playing back then like Cult of the Lamps. So I decided I will try to make the mechanics of Cult of the Lamps because I enjoyed the game. I remember the mechanics. I can copy and paste the mechanics. Like I don't need to design the mechanics, redesign the mechanics. I just need to see what good in this game and actually try to remake it. The final thing is to start working. So I gathered four of my friends, three of my friends and my sister, and we that was the first team I ever made myself, um, and we start making this game. Um, I don't know how we was able to get it done and add all of these features, but what I'm sure is what actually make the game one is that it has this little thing, which is the hack and slash mechanic with minimalistic art style. It's this is the small sentence I got before the jam, and that sentence I keep pushing it to the maximum, to keep the art style minimal, to add elements that make it looks like complicated, but it's still minimal to make. And the hack and slash mechanic inside of it, I should make it juicy, like 100%. The dashes, the variation in the sword, the slashes behind the swords, the sounds, the fighting, all of that. I keep push this in this direction. I keep push this small mechanics, the small sentence I had in my head. It's gonna be a hack and slash mechanic, a hack and slash game with a minimalistic art style. To and keep pushing this small mechanic, make the game one. Anyone plays the game knows how to play it because he played similar games like it, and it's somehow good within the 3 days scope of the jam. It's somehow still good execution of this small pitch, you know. So I think that's what make the game win.
Okay, that's actually awesome. So to try to summarize what you mentioned right now, it's super important for anyone trying to make a game to think of a mechanic and to try to make the mechanic as juicy as possible. I'd love for you to explain what juicy means actually before I continue.
Okay, let me give you an example from the winner game. I had hack and slash game. What a hack and slash game? It's you just have a sword, a dash, and you keep uh, clicking the mouse to swing your sword, and keep clicking space to dash. And dodge enemies and keep killing them. How could we make this a juicy mechanic? First, we can simply add a variation in the sword animation and sound, like 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, like you cutting down, you cutting up, and then you slashes middle. Like if you keep doing this, it's now a little bit interesting. Like not no, it's a little bit of okay. Now the about the
Mm-hmm.
dashes. If you make the dash is a little bit not linear dash, like a parabola jump or something. You change a little bit in the anticipation. You change a little bit in the particle system. You change a little bit in the sound design to add more and more layers and complexity. It's a lit. It becomes more and more interesting to play, interesting to experiment. Like simply from my voice right now. Let me give you another demonstration from my voice right now while I'm speaking. If I say like this is a sound effect, you're gonna keep every time you click the mouse, you're gonna hear like it's a little bit noisy. It's a little bit not interesting to hear for like 10 minutes, maybe repetitively, and you are the one who invoking this sound. Every time you click the mouse, you hear the sound. It's a little bit annoying. So the game is not actually funny to play. But actually, by manipulating the sound a little bit every time you click the mouse, by having some pattern inside it, and make some a little bit variations in the sound, a little bit variations in the animations, a little bit variations in the gameplay, you start making this game a little bit. It looks like it's more deeper than it is. It's actually fake effect that make it look like richer than it is. Maybe manipulating the pitch of the sound a little bit, maybe manipulating the clip a little bit, maybe manipulating the volume of the sound a little bit, maybe having some slash animation like trail of the sword, and that will make the player actually clicking the mouse itself is gonna somehow be funny. Give him anything like a dummy to shoot. Give him some like Fruit Ninja. Why Fruit Ninja is so satisfying? Because the sound and the slashes and the speed. Having this little mechanic inside the hack and slash game and make it somehow somehow juicy enough, like with some screen shakes, some um, explosions, some VFX. It will keep adding layers to the game which is gonna make it look richer than it is.
Okay, that's actually really, really, really interesting. So basically, what you're saying is that to add juice to a game, what you need to do is you need to grab the basics of whatever it is that you do, whether it's an attack, whether it's a sound effect, whether it's a walk, and then just add like little variations to it, so you can give the game a certain level of depth and professionalism that keeps the players satisfied instead of keeping them in like a very like monotonic way. That's really,
Yeah,
really cool. Awesome. Perfect. Actually, that's really, really, really amazing. So yeah, so going back to the game jam stuff, basically you have to pick one mechanic, you have to work on it to make sure that it is as juicy as possible, and then you build your entire game across the next couple of days, specifically to satisfy this core mechanic that you are building. So if it's a hack and slash game, everything in the game needs to rely on either hacking and slashing or getting hacked and getting slashed. If you're making a puzzle game,
yes,
everything, all the elements in the game need to rely on whatever puzzle you're building. If you're building a card game, then everything needs to rely on the cards, etc., etc. Okay, that's really, really awesome.
100%,
Um,
100%, and like 10% of the time.
yeah, yeah, awesome. That's really, really cool. So I'd like to actually jump to the next topic, which is about your game, the Sound of Silence. So can you just tell us what the Sound of Silence is before we get into it?
Sure. Sound of Silence is a story-driven game about two siblings, a boy and a girl, who lives in occupation in Gaza. Under the game itself came from a game jam about Palestine. I got the idea, the main message, the little message I got from this game. You should actually experience. I was trying to make the player experiment the feeling of a raid of children under the raid. So the mechanics of the game was actually you trying to avoid a raid, a flight, and a fight or flight to actually bombing your sister and yourself, and also um, trying to protect the people you love, with some additional mechanics. You know, the game itself got somehow will I think I think I had a message to say about it. So I was a little bit worried to continue it to make it a full game, but I took the decision to turn it into a full game, and I start working on that prototype to actually make it a full game. I add some mechanics like social media inside it to actually um, trying to I make the player itself right in some parts of the game working like us, the people who on the internet who saw this and actually should share and should post about it and should inform the world about what's going on. And sometimes you play as the boy and try to actually um, survive in that conditions. Um, I can't tell you how much that helps me to actually think somehow what happened in the past 2 years in this manner is a little bit it's hard for everyone to describe what he feel about this situation. But I think what my feeling back then was I'm a little bit useless and I can't do anything. So as an artist, I decided to make the thing I can do is to express the situations using art, and that's what I try to do, and I'm keep doing. So yeah.
Honestly, that's really, really amazing. Yes, I completely agree. Like I remember when we started the game jam for Palestine. We actually did two of them, technically speaking. We did one in 2021 and one last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And you submitted your game for the second one, and that's basically how we found out about it. And yeah, art is a very good way to express one's feelings and to raise awareness about certain situations, especially when it
Mhm.
comes to games. Because games are very much like the medium where you get to step into people's shoes and actually live through their lives. So when you're playing a game like The Sound of Silence and you're trying to avoid the raids, it's not the characters trying to avoid them. It's very much you trying to avoid them. It's you trying to save your sister. It's you trying to take the risk to see what you can do to make sure that you stay safe. So yeah,
True.
the game definitely delivers a very powerful message, and I think this is a very important segue into Dreams on a Pillow. So Dreams on a
Yeah.
Pillow is
Uh,
another game made about Palestine, and if you can actually tell us about it a bit, I'd love to hear your take on it and what you guys are doing so far.
the game started back last year. Rashid contacted me with Samir. Abbas is the project manager, and Rashid is the director of the game. They contacted me before they had a team or something to start working on some prototypes about the mechanics of the game. I can say a lot. Um, uh, I'm trying to remember what was saying the pitch of the donation to actually not say more. It's like semi 3D game with realistic events based on realistic events about Nakba. It's actually speaks about our main character is called or Khadra, and this character is actually trying to had her child, which is somehow in the game some coincidence happened, and this child is something happened to him, and at this situation should survive use with her child trying to protect him, and we go through all the steps, the real events that happen to people that traveled, um, not traveled, like pushed away from their own lands, forced to push to leave their own homes back then in the Nakba. The game itself, I was so proud to work on it because Samir actually get me into the team with a one sentence. We are making the indie game darling of the Middle East. So who can refuse an offer like that? So I 100% jumped in, and we are currently working on it. We had a lot of experience developers into right now. I'm so excited to tell you more when it's available. I'm not the one who decide to what to share and what not, but I think I said what's already been said, so I'm not exploiting any info.
Yeah, but this is honestly amazing. Like the fact that people are using again games for as a special medium to discuss uh, what what can be done in the world and what kind of stories we can share. It's not something that many people have the ability to do or have the strength to do. I actually opened the page in front of me as well, and I sent it in the chat. I should probably add this in the YouTube video as well. But basically, in Dreams on a Pillow, it basically just talks about the importance of uh, telling the stories that people have gone through. It tells us again, it lets us live through people's lives. It lets us explore things that have happened in the world in one way or another. Um, yeah, like apparently also, funding something like this was deemed too controversial. People thought that it was too risky, especially since about who you're supporting. And basically, because of all of this, the game did receive not backlash per se, but fear of being taken on as a project. And given how many risks, like the biggest risk to this project was not its development, but it was the backlash that people were fearing getting, basically. And it's very interesting that the project, despite everything, was able to raise money on something
Yeah,
like launch.
we I think in the group of the developers, Samer like shared that tweet from Elon Musk that says that games is actually he missed the time when games was actually funny to play, not having message, and we all agreed that he was talking about us. Like this is how we actually the backlash of the The advertising was pushing us till Elon Musk heard about us and tweeted. So
Yeah.
that brings us back to the main thing about
Hmm.
advertising. There is no bad advertising. If you're gonna talk about the game and say it's bad, and it's actually supporting some different people, you are actually somehow advertising the game. Um, and that's what I don't think people back there in the Europe or USA are stupid to not understand what's going on here. I think it's so obvious for anyone, for any child to actually understand that see children dies and bombed and hospitals burned. And I think normal human brain can actually judge who's wrong and who's right. So I think that's why the game was successful and the campaign was successful.
Hmm. 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 And how long do you think it's gonna take for you guys to release the game? Do you have a timeline for this, or is
Yes,
anything
we
in
have
the
a
works?
timeline. We have a timeline. We didn't actually change the timeline from the campaign. The campaign says it's going to be 2 years of
Hmm.
development, starting from this year, or actually starting from the second quarter of this year.
Hmm.
And we are actually on plan. We actually uh, working with a good momentum. I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
we can get it done, but this time.
Amazing, amazing. That's really, really good to hear. Yeah, honestly, it's quite exciting. And like you also have like pretty big names on the board, like you have Ravi Ismail, you have Salwa Najm. You have
Mhm.
quite a lot of people that are also working on the game.
And
It's
we actually had
it's
two more very famous developers.
that's
Like Wissam Bahnasi is the NVIDIA. He's working on NVIDIA. He actually published
hmm
his own games on PlayStation 3, like 2012. I'm not actually sure of the time, but Wissam Bahnasi, like one of the people I was following for a long time on Twitter, and I was so excited to work with him on this project. Um, and yeah, and we still have a lot of people on the hiring list. They didn't start with us, but there's a lot of experiment developers are joining in. Everyone wants to support this, and that brings us back to the this thing I said before. Everyone thinks he is hopeless to and actually can't do anything to support this. So everyone is trying to help one way or another. Like a lot of developers on the Discord channel, the open Discord channel for the community, a lot of the messages there is like, I'm a game developer. I have this amount of experience. If anything I can help with, just let me know. Um, I joined the team as a volunteer. A lot of the developers working on the game are just they are don't think twice before joining, because you think you had something to do about this. You had the if you are not gonna do anything, at least do the thing you can do. And what we can do is making games. So are we making game about it? You know, and everybody there is like wants to help about this, wants to make this sound uh, get louder, and wants to make this game get published and succeeded. Want to make a lot of people play this game and experiment, as you say, put themselves in the shoes of the victims, the real victims of the story, to understand what's happened, and then they can conclude what's going on right now, and that will help.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we have a question actually in the chat, which is, can I know what kind of platform this game will be on without being taken down? So where are you guys gonna
Uh,
release the?
Without taking down, that's a little bit. I don't know about it. That's in Allah Alam. Yeah. Without be taken down, I don't know. Any platform can take it down, but what I can tell you that Rashid has a similar experience of taking his game down, like Layla and Shadows of the War. Rashid is the director of the game and the owner of the IP of the Dreams of Bello. He had a similar game, uh, um, talking about the war of Gaza, 2014, and he published it on Google Play and App Store, and the App Store take it down. And believe it or not, that makes the game huge famous. That gives the game a great audience and give it it was successful game. Like it was successful game before that, but it was like a hit for Rashid because of Apple tried to take the game down and say it's a little bit political and confidential, and they take it down from the platform. So actually, the developers and the community actually backlashed Apple, and the game is published back on App Store, and the game was noticed by a lot of developers and a lot of platforms, and the game now is actually like 40 millions download or something. So who can take the game down? What platform can take the game down? I can't tell. But what I'm sure is the community is aware that we are not adding any we are not playing out of the rules of the platform. So the platforms should not take the game down. And if that happened, I think the community is smart enough to actually do that again and bring the game back. Um, but yeah, still, let's say to the bright side, Google Play doesn't talk the game down. So the game mainly will be published on PC and major consoles and mobile, I hope. Uh, so yeah, the game will, yeah, yeah, Allah Alam, yeah. I hope it's will be published.
I guess we'll see how it goes when the game comes out. Hopefully, the thing is like when working with also such big names, this also gives you a lot of strength and pressure from your ends. As you mentioned as well, like Rashid, from what I remember, for Layla and the Shadows of War, the game was taken down because it was labeled as a game instead of politics and news. And Rashid refused to change it to politics and news because it was very much a game and it was an expression
Yes.
of himself and the injustices that he was going through and his people were going through. So, yes, I think at this point in time, there are a lot of people backing the game and there are a lot of people with a lot of eyes on it. So, I think it's going to do pretty well, no matter what. There's always the fear. There's always the fear of something going down. But at the same time, um, it doesn't mean that it's your only hope. You know, at the same time, like I know that itch, for example, itch.io for now, they do allow this kind of content. Assuming it gets taken down, you can still have it and give it away if you need to give it away as a worst last desperate option. Even though making money would always be a good thing, especially since you're working so hard on it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yes, absolutely. So I think this was most of the questions I wanted to ask. Guys, if you have any questions as well, please type them in the chat. Um, Ahmed, actually, I have a few more questions, but before I get into them, do you have anything you'd generally like to share with us? Anything specific you would like to talk about? Any tips you'd like to give beginner developers, people that are interested in making games that they're afraid of making, people that might be trying to gather the courage to express themselves through games, something of the sort?
Yeah, sure. I tell to all game developers with us here, or anyone who wants to become a game developer, do what you like. Like, if you like making games, if you like playing games, just know a little bit about making games is gonna help you playing more games. Know a little bit about making games is gonna actually make you a little bit experiment with the bugs you see in the games. It will make game you make the gaming experience for you a little bit funnier and richer. If you find yourself making games and you liked it too, then keep doing the things you love. Don't think about profitability or money or that stuff. You will learn while you're doing games, and you will learn. You will get the correct scopes and the correct mechanics and the correct not to do what not to do by practicing. And by practicing, you will strengthen your abilities and know what you're good at and what you're bad at. And keep making games is like keep drawing. You learn it by practicing, not just by watching tutorials and following guidance. Treat yourself not as an engineer. Treat yourself like an artist who has a vision, who has a message to say. That's my approach. I don't take myself as an engineer, even it's my own study, my own profession, but I'm expressing myself more like an artist. That's the way I try to identify myself. Um, and the best way to actually put all of this into practice is through game jams. I don't know how I was able to make games and get confident and gather um, all of the knowledge I had and put it into test without game jams, without actually being limited with time and scope. So I had to actually focus on one mechanic. And if you actually look to my first game jam ever was like 2018. And my last game jam, I made it like 10 days ago in the game Zanga, the last game Zanga. You can see a huge difference. And that's all because I'm learning. I'm testing myself through game jams. I'm testing myself through publishing games and game jams, small games, small prototypes. It's, and actually, a lot of the jobs I got is not because the games that I put on my CV that I published with another companies or big names in here in Middle East. Actually, a lot of the offers I got was from small games I made in game jams. Actually, the current my current position was working with Rashid and Samir was because the last game Zanga, the game Zanga I won. So and actually my first professional game I got from a game jam also. And that keeps adding up, that keeps exposing you to people, that keeps learning you more and more. And that keeps you in the frame of making a game from A to Z. That's actually one of the most perfect benefits from game jams is actually you need to go through all of the aspects of making a game, all of the aspects of actually prototyping and publishing a game, from actually testing to making sounds to and all of the people start making their games and perfecting their mechanics and actually never touch a sound interface, never work with a way to make sounds or the way to polish their games. But actually making a jam is actually taking 2% of everything, 2% of every ingredient, and making a small full experience. It shouldn't be a full experience. It can be a small full experience, and I can't actually recommend it more. So
That's awesome. That's really, really, really cool. Perfect. Perfect. That was a great answer, honestly. Thank you, Ahmed. I really appreciate it. We actually have a question from another Ahmed as well, which is uh, getting into the industry. And if you didn't have a location, or like basically when you're someone that's working in a country like Egypt, which is, I'm guessing that's where you're working from, right?
yes.
What's in a, how, so you got your job basically because you succeeded in making a big game. Well, not making a big game, but like you made a very successful, well-polished game through a game jam, and people were impressed by your skills, and this basically led you to doing well. Do you think other people could also do something like this, or do you think that we're like, was this like a one-off thing? Do you feel like you're the exception, or do you think that you are setting a new type of rule, basically, for
100%. I believe I'm not an exception in anything. I'm ordinary. I'm an ordinary person. I'm like an average person in everything. I'm not an exception on anything in life. My name is Ahmed. That's not ordinary by any means. So um, um, I got my first job when I was actually I had the indie dream. I kept making games for like 4 years in my career under my own IP, and I was a little bit young. I'm still young. I'm still 25. So 10 years ago I was 15. I couldn't have an official job. So it was all a freelancing boards and small games I make for myself and all of that. But then I had a game jam that was hosted by a friend I know, and that jam was actually sponsored by a company. and that company was actually trying to make it was a company in Turkey. So a Turkish company, that company was actually trying to get these games in the jam and buy it from the developers and make their own mobile games, hyper casual mobile games from it. So I won that jam. I got second place, I remember, and they offered me a position in the company to actually keep developing this game. And I got paid from that. I kept working on them for 4 years after for 2.5 years after that. And then I decided that I can't work remotely anymore. I'm now in the university and I can work on set. And that was the worst decision I make. Like working in Egypt and gaming industry, it's like we are not making actually games. We are making. There's a lot of exceptions for that. Of course, I'm not saying that in here we don't have good games, but a lot of the well-paid company are not making games. They are making educational system. They are making simulations for governments and stuff like that, which is actually I don't have a lot of materials to show. We actually made a great work, but it's like a private because it's working for some governmental institution that are not sharing their sensitive information with and how they are handling that this and that. So I found myself like uh, talking away from the industry a little bit, from making the games I love and all of that. So I got back to working online with companies around the world, and I got how many jobs I got in this 10 years from Jams? I got 3 jobs from Jams. The first one and the last one, and one of them, and one in the like it was not. I didn't stay there a lot, but I got 3 of them, of 5. I got 3 or 5 from Jams. That's a lot of. That's a lot. It's a huge percentage.
Honestly, that's amazing, and honestly, it gives a lot of hope to a lot of people as well. This is wonderful. So, perfect, perfect. I think, you guys, do you have any more questions? Because we're nearing on time. But if we don't, you guys can keep typing. But if we don't, Ahmed, honestly, thank you so much. Everything you've talked about has been super, super wonderful. Oh, okay, we do have another question. But either way, what you've said so far has been really, really amazing. Wanjad, we really appreciate you being here. So, thank you. So, the question is, I have another question for you. The jump for you from just a junior dev or a designer in his case into a senior position, what do you think qualified you to apply for such positions? Like sometimes he looks into the senior positions and sees that you need like 12 plus years of experience. So like, what is the best way to climb the career ladder? And if you know if that's basically his goal, especially since he hasn't been able to land a job in the industry yet.
I don't know your case, but I'm gonna speak about myself. I um I had a lot of time working on myself, on my own, making my own games that gathered me a lot of experience. And I have some, like my first interview I got on set after like 7 years of experience of making games was a junior position because I didn't have any uh, experience. Um, and the thing I understand there, I got there my senior position because um, like when I got into the interview, they got like 10 or 15 applicants. Okay, but the I don't want to say it like that, but let's say it like that, and let's montage it anyway. All of them didn't pass the test, and when I got on the computer and start working on the test, I found it too much easy for this for a junior position, and it was a 20 minutes test. I get it done in like 90 seconds or something, and my interviewee was like amazed because of this. So I got the job at the same point, at the same position, at the same day, at the same half an hour. I don't know why. What I think that made that is I had a lot of time working by my own because I started too young. I had a lot of time working by my own. learning too much, but I didn't know that I'm qualified enough to get a job. So I keep learning and learning and learning and gathered information, reading books, and actually all of that, and test put my knowledge into test and game jams and all of that, making my own games and stuff. But when I switched, my age allowed me to switch back into games, into companies and business and that stuff. I found that I already have a lot of experience. That's my own case. I don't know. we- Not everyone had the luxury of starting too young, because a lot of us already past this point. But that's my experience. And maybe a little bit lucky, or I was a little somehow have a lot of free time back then when I was young. We didn't have social media back then, so we actually had a lot of time to learn. But I can't. Every journey of person is personal, and it's a lot of fate and coincidence. So I can't judge your life. But what I can actually advise you is to keep working, keep do what you love. If you don't like it, don't do it. Life is short. Be happy, and just if you have a dream, just go for it. Keep going for it. It will come.
Awesome. Perfect. That's a really, really nice answer, honestly. Thank you. So, Hamad's actually asking if there is any plans for your own indie studio to be opened up. Do you have any plans to do this soon or no?
My indie studio right now is making tools on the Asset Store. I find it this is the most applicable thing to make right now in my time frame. I'm working on the game for Rashid. I'm working also on my own game in my free time, and with that time, I'm actually making side hustle by making assets on the Asset Store, which is actually making a good amount of money. By the way, I didn't actually. Um, uh, yeah, I thought that making games is the only thing you can have a job by making games as a game developer, but still you can buy sell tools to others. If you actually making mechanics, if you're spending a lot of time making mechanics for a game, you are not gonna finish. And if you think this mechanic is a little bit is going to make somebody lives easier, why don't you add it to the asset store? I got this decision like 1 year ago, and I'm not regretting it. Like spending 2 or 3 days actually fixing a bug, and or making a new small adjustment in a tool and then sell to the asset store is a very successful thing, and based on the time you spend on it. Um, and my own studio somehow, let's say, I'm not a good manager, so I can't actually.
Okay, that's very fair. I mean, to open a studio, I think this is something that we can talk about at the Gaming Academy as well. Like the things that it takes to actually open a studio, blah, blah, blah. It would be an interesting topic to discuss. So Ahmed had a question as well, which is about how, like, if you could elaborate on how you got jobs from the game jams that you joined. So was it more like you posted something on LinkedIn and then people reached out to you, or is it more like, just because of the actions you took in the game jam that people reached out to you?
Okay, the first job I got was the company was sponsoring the game jam, so they were looking for games to actually support and take to make it into mobile games. So I was succeeded in the game jam, and they chose me to work for them. This is one. The second one was or actually the last one was Samir knowing me from the Zanga, the last Zanga, and he offered me this job. And the one in the middle was actually also he contacted me because he knew me from the gym. But the game jams game, I put it in my CV. So when I applying for the game, I'm picking some games that actually similar or had a similar mechanics to the games in the game that the studio are asking for developers for. So if they are making like a story-rich platformer I'm picking some platforming and some story-rich games I make in the game jams and post them. I'm not posting all of them. I'm just picking what shows them that I can create this and um, like you are trying to show the people who are trying to hire that you are the one for the job. I know how to do this. I know um, uh, how to get your job done. That's it. Who they are needing people, they are hiring people to get the job done. So you should stand out and say, I'm not an experiment developer. I'm not. No, no, just say it out loud. I'm the one who can get the job done, and that's a proof. And I'm not succeeding in every interview I got in. I'm not actually got replied with for every CV I sent, but still the job I landed was from doing this, telling the HR, telling the employee that you are the one to get the job done, and that's what they need to know. Actually.
Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much, Ahmed. This was honestly really, really wonderful. I really appreciate your time with us. I really appreciate everything we've talked about, all the topics that we've opened, all the tips that you've given everyone that's attended. Everyone, thank you so much as well for attending. Ahmed, is that people want to follow you, to talk to you, to reach out to you? Is there any way they can do that?
Yeah, 100%. I would love to. I'm on Twitter, and they can reach me on Discord as well. I'm active on those platforms. Um, I'm not actually active on any other thing. So
Perfect.
Twitter and Discord. I
Awesome.
will maybe I'll send you my Twitter account. You can add it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, 100%. I'll share both of them. Perfect. Okay,
I
great. Mm. And any last messages for anyone watching now or later on and stuff?
um like life is short. Do what you like. If you like making games, just keep making games. Don't listen to anyone. Uh, if you are not comfortable enough making games, it's okay. Just find yourself another position or in any other field. Um, Making games is hard. I know making games may be a lot of work, but if you actually like it, if you can put your time, if you actually on your holidays making games and playing games to make games, you're actually the one. You're gonna succeed. Just give it time, and you will succeed. That's it.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so, so much, Ahmed, honestly. Well, thank you everyone again. We'll see you very soon. Take care. Thank you, guys.